Hi guys, welcome to activity 2.16. We're on page 158. The activity is called to introduce and conclude, so we're going to be learning how to introduce and conclude your argumentative essay. Your learning target says analyze and identify the components of an introductory and a concluding paragraph in an argumentative essay. You'll be note-taking, chunking the text, doing a close read, and marking the text. Before reading, number 1. Access your prior knowledge of writing introductions and conclusions. Then take notes as you view the opening and closing of an argument. Introduction. What do you know? What makes a successful introduction to an argument? Please fill that in now. I'll pause the video. Second one. What do you see and hear? What does the speaker do to introduce the argument? Please fill that in now. I'll pause the video. Conclusion. What do you know? What makes a successful conclusion to an argument? Please fill that in now. I'll pause the video. Last one. What do you see and hear? What does the speaker do to conclude the argument? I'll pause the video. Fill that in now. Okay, number 2. Chunk the text by boxing the first paragraph and the last paragraph. Then number the sentences of the introductory and concluding paragraph. So we're going to chunk it by boxing the first paragraph. I'm going to go down to the story. Please put a box around this first paragraph. I'm going to highlight mine. Then you're going to number the sentences. So this first one, we go number 1, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you should have 5 sentences numbered in paragraph 1. Then same thing with the last paragraph. So you're going to put a box around it. So draw a box. I can't draw a box on here, so I'm going to highlight. And then you are going to number the sentences. So sentence 1, 2, 3, and 4. You have 4 sentences here. Please number the sentences. Okay. Let's go to during reading number 3. Closely read the introduction and conclusion of the sample text about the issue of teenagers' use of technology. Mark the text by labeling the function of each sentence in those paragraphs. So we're going to read both of those paragraphs. Mark the text by labeling the function of each sentence in those paragraphs. What does each sentence do? This is a student essay called Screen Time. We have this first paragraph. You're going to tell me what the first sentence is, what the second sentence is, what each sentence is doing. So the first sentence says, how does screen time really affect you and others you know? So this is the hook. That's what it's doing. It's drawing us in. So you would label that the hook. And the effect is it's drawing us in. You're going to try to label every sentence in the first paragraph as well as the last paragraph. What is the author doing? Number 4, after reading. Use the same questions as before to collaboratively discuss your observations of the text. So you are going to have to talk with your shoulder partner after we're done reading this and answer, what does the speaker do to introduce the argument? What does the speaker do to conclude the argument? Okay, I'm going to play the article now. Please follow along.
Screen time. How does screen time really affect you and others you know? Does the new technology make life better? The answer is no. Screen time affects youth in a negative way. Imagine a future world without teenagers. Instead, as people in the United Kingdom like to call it, screenagers. Kids that have a variety of mental and physical illnesses and are no longer capable of doing some of the jobs that are most important to our society. Because spending too many hours in front of any kind of screen, even a phone, can become addicting, spark psychological difficulties, and cause lower grades in school. Screen time for youth should be limited to 2 hours a day or less.
Okay, Please mark that text now. You're labeling every sentence and what it's doing. I'm going to pause the video. Okay, now we're going to read the rest. Please use your metacognitive markers. If you see examples of ethos, pathos, logos, label it as well. Here we go.
Screen addiction is a serious problem in our society. A study conducted by the Kaiser Family Foundation states that nearly every kid in the US uses an electronic device almost every second outside of school. Kids ages 8 to 18 spend an average time of 7.5 hours a day. That's over 53 hours a week, which is way too much considering that the recommended time per day is 2 hours. An experiment on kids who got all their screens withdrawn had positive outcomes. The kids seemed calmer, fought less often, and slept better. A lot of kids feel like the overuse of screens has no effect on them, but it actually does. They just don't notice it at all. In addition, in a survey of youth ages 8 to 18, nearly 1 in 4 kids felt addicted to screens. Preventing the overuse of screens could prevent addiction and the failure of a whole society.
Okay, third
Something
paragraph.
else the overuse of screens causes is psychological difficulties such as hyperactivity, emotional and conduct problems, as well as difficulties with peers. A survey by the Chiba University says that 25,000 people that spend most of their time in front of a screen feel depressed. The cause of this is not necessarily looking at the screen, but much rather the addiction, not knowing when to stop, and being isolated from others. Depression is a severe illness which causes lots of deaths. In addition, the hyperactivity caused by the screen addiction causes an unhealthy diet and might lead to other dangerous diseases. All these psychological and physical problems caused by one screen. It's really not worth it. Finally, using screens too much may cause a decrease in grades at school. It is proven that adolescents who watch 3 or more hours of television a day are at especially high risk for poor homework completion, negative attitudes towards school, poor grades, and long-term academic failure. This might result in a bad future with a bad job or no job at all. This mainly happens because of the lack of enthusiasm towards school and the time spent using a screen instead of studying. In addition, the content of some TV shows out there don't necessarily make you smarter. In fact, some of them make you dumber. Considering this, you should think about how every hour you watch TV instead of studying makes it harder to have a promising future. In conclusion, decreasing screen time below 2 hours a day could prevent youth from having a bad life. Reduced screen time helps you in school, helps you have a healthier diet, be more physical, and tends to get you more engaged in activities. The end of our world will most likely not be caused by a bunch of earthquakes and tsunamis as shown in the movie 2012. It is going to be our young generation wasting away in front of screens. So go home, unplug your screen, and save our future society. The results will be much better than some TV show.
All right, go ahead and label the last paragraph. What is each sentence doing? I'll pause the video now. Okay, after reading, please answer the after reading questions with your shoulder partner. What does the speaker do to introduce the argument? What does the speaker do to conclude the argument? Then we'll share our answers out loud as a class. I'll pause the video now so you can fill it out. All right, let's discuss. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to ask you some questions about what you labeled in paragraph 1 and what did you label in paragraph 2. What is the author doing in each of those sentences? I'm going to pause the video now. Okay, last piece. Create an outline and then generate ideas for a potential introduction and conclusion to your class constructed body paragraph. Be sure to introduce your claim in an introduction. Include a hook, a connection between the hook and the claim, and the claim. Provide a conclusion that supports your argument. Why does the claim that you made matter? What should the audience do based on your claim? What is your call to action? Okay, so it says create an outline, then generate ideas for a potential body paragraph. So in this box, you are going to create an outline for your class constructed essay. So I'm going to do just the first couple bullets, and then you're going to do the rest on your own. So an outline, first we have to introduce our claim in an introduction. Now, our claim has to be somewhere in the introduction. It could be the first sentence, second sentence, third sentence, or the last sentence, as long as our claim is in our introduction. But we always want to start with a hook. So we want to draw the reader in. So I'm going to put hook. Then you're going to tell me what comes after the hook and what comes after that. So I'm not going to give you the answers for this. You're doing this in your book. You may work with a shoulder partner. Then you're going to come up with ideas. So generate ideas for so we have the potential introduction and conclusion. Now that was our introduction. We're going to skip down to our conclusion. All right, so it has to A, support our argument. Okay, and then I would like you to come up with an idea here. Like what could be a possible sentence that would support our argument? Okay, why does the claim that you made matter? What should the audience do based on your claim? What is your call to action? So really you should have a sentence for each of those. So I'm going to add that. Why does the claim you made matter? And then I want you to come up with a sentence that would address that. And I know one class did school class time should start later, and another class did pets should be allowed in school. So you're doing it on that topic just to practice this, whatever topic our class did. So C, the next one is what should the audience do based on your claim? So you need to make sure that they know what to do to change this. What should the audience do based on your claim? So I want you to come up with a sentence there with your shoulder partner. And then the last one, I think we had, oh, what is your call to action? So call to action is what they're going to do to change it. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video. You are either doing this topic on school time should start later or classroom should have school pets. I need to see an outline here and then a broad outline here of your conclusion answering these questions. Okay, ready, set, go.